I heard the store manager whisper. Watch her hands. I froze in the middle of the aisle, holding nothing but my phone. And in that moment, every eye in that luxury boutique turned toward me. My name is Alana Brooks. I'm 34, a marketing director in downtown Chicago, and until that afternoon, I believed I'd finally outrun the quiet kind of racism that follows you through nice places with soft lighting and polite smiles. I'd spent 10 years climbing a ladder that never seemed built for me. Late nights, twice the effort, half the recognition. But that year was different. I just landed a major client, the kind that comes with bonuses, respect, and finally, breathing room. So when my assistant joked, "Girl, you better treat yourself," I did something I'd never done before. I walked into Vernier & Company, a high-end boutique on Michigan Avenue, to buy my first designer handbag. It wasn't just a purse. It was proof that I belonged in spaces I was never invited into. The store smelled like leather and jasmine. Quiet jazz played overhead. Crystal shelves glowed under warm lights. Everything about it whispered exclusivity. And then there was me. I noticed it immediately, the subtle pause when I stepped in. The sales associate near the door gave me a tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Let me know if you need anything," she said, her voice trailing off like she'd already decided I wouldn't. I nodded politely. I was used to this dance. The invisible test. "Do you belong here?" I wandered toward a display of structured handbags. Sleek, minimalist, elegant. Exactly my style. I picked one up carefully, turning it in the light. A man in a navy blazer approached a white woman beside me. "Excellent choice, ma'am," he said warmly. "That's our most popular piece this season." She smiled. They chatted. He offered her a mirror, a chair, sparkling water. I stood 2 feet away, holding the same bag. No one spoke to me. I cleared my throat. "Excuse me? Could someone tell me if this comes in black?" The associate glanced at me, then at the bag. "It's actually very expensive," she said softly. "Prices start at $3,000. I blinked. "I understand. I was asking about color." Her smile tightened. "Right. Well, we usually show those to serious buyers." The words were gentle, polished, but they landed like a slap. I felt heat crawl up my neck. That old, familiar humiliation, the kind that never announces itself, just settles into your bones. I placed the bag back carefully. "Thank you," I said, even though she'd given me nothing. I turned toward another shelf. That's when I heard it. From behind me. "Low. Meant to be private. Just keep an eye," the associate murmured to someone. "We've had issues." I didn't need to turn around to know who she meant. I tried to keep browsing. Tried to breathe past the tightness in my chest. But suddenly everywhere I moved, someone was near. A staff member rearranging scarves beside me. Another pretending to dust glass. The same associate hovering in reflections. My pulse thudded in my ears. I wasn't shopping anymore. I was being watched. And then it escalated. I reached for another handbag. Deep brown leather, gold hardware. As I lifted it, the associate stepped closer than necessary. "Ma'am," she said quietly, "we do have cameras." For a second, I didn't even process it. Then the meaning hit. My hands started to shake. "I'm aware," I said slowly. "I'm just looking." She gave a thin smile. "Of course. We just want to ensure merchandise stays accounted for." There it was. The accusation without the accusation. I swallowed hard. Around us, a few shoppers glanced over. The air felt heavy. Thick. Public. I set the bag down. "I'd like to speak to your manager," I said. Her eyebrows lifted, surprised I'd asked. "Oh, I'm sure that won't be necessary." "It is," I replied, my voice steadying in a way I didn't feel inside. She hesitated, then nodded toward the back. And that's when everything began to unravel. The room stilled. A woman stepped forward from near the entrance. Late 50s. Silver-streaked curls. Tailored ivory coat. Authority radiated from her posture alone. Daniel straightened instantly. "Miss Vernier." My breath caught. Vernier. As in, the name above the door. She looked from him to me. Her gaze was sharp, assessing, but not unkind. "I've been listening," she said calmly. "For several minutes." Daniel's color drained. "Of course. We were simply—" "No," she interrupted. "You were profiling." A collective inhale rippled through the boutique. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it. Ms. Vernier turned to me. "I'm deeply sorry for how you've been treated in my store." The words landed like sunlight after storm. Daniel stammered. "There's been a misunderstanding." She faced him fully now. And her voice hardened. "The only misunderstanding is that you believed prejudice qualifies as vigilance." Silence. Then she gestured toward the handbags. "Miss Brooks," I said faintly. "Alana Brooks." "Well, Ms. Brooks," she said, warmth returning, "would you allow me to personally assist you?" Emotion surged up my throat. I don't know if I should," I admitted. She nodded gently. "That's fair. Trust is fragile. But I would like the opportunity to repair what my staff has damaged." Behind her, Daniel stood rigid. The associate looked like she might disappear into the marble floor. I took a slow breath. "Okay," I said. Ms. Vernier guided me to a velvet chair. Another associate, different, respectful, brought handbags in multiple colors. As she placed them beside me, Ms. Vernier spoke quietly but clearly enough for the room. "At Vernier and Company, dignity is not optional. And today, we failed." She squeezed my hand. "No. Thank you for staying." Outside, Chicago air hit cool against my cheeks. I stood there on Michigan Avenue, clutching the shopping bag. Heart still racing. People passed. Traffic hummed. The city moved like nothing monumental had happened. But inside me, something shifted. For years, I'd learned to shrink discomfort. Smile through microaggressions. Exit quietly. Protect dignity by leaving spaces that questioned it. That day, I didn't leave. And because I stayed, truth surfaced. A week later, I received a handwritten note. "Ms. Brooks, thank you for allowing accountability to occur. We have parted ways with the individuals involved and implemented new equity training across all locations. You reminded us what respect must look like. Always. With gratitude. Elise Vernier." I read it twice. Not because a luxury brand apologized, but because someone with power chose justice over comfort. I still carry that black handbag. Not for status. Not for fashion. But for memory. It reminds me that belonging isn't granted by stores, titles, or spaces. It exists the moment you refuse to accept less than your humanity. And sometimes, the quietest stand creates the loudest change.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'd also love to hear from you, so leave a comment below and share your thoughts. We read every single comment. We are on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every bit of support brings us one step closer. Thank you for being part of Black Diaries and supporting the journey.